Air Max Day has happened. It came and went on the 26th of March 2024. Now, the two main sneakers that was released for this night day was the Nike Air Max DNs, and then there was a shock drop, which was the Nike Air Max 1 OG Big Bubble Vault. Now, that had the hype, so that stole the show. As for the whole day, I don't know. Don't know about you. You guys let me know in the comments below. But I felt it was a bit lackluster. I don't think Nike put that much effort into this Air Max Day. And there probably is a good reason to be honest. The economy is not doing so well. So everyone's feeling the pinch, including people who usually get hyped up by that day. All right, that's enough of that. Let's move on. We're going to take a look at today, the Nike Air Max DNs. What we're going to do is look in more detail. So we're going to cover today the price, the looks, the good and bad bits about it, the sizing, and then also we're going to look at on foot, of course. First thing we're going to do is unbox. I haven't seen this trainer, so this is in hand. It's going to be interesting in the sense that I've seen the images and my feelings is quite mixed for me. All right, we have it here. There is a Nike box, typical Air Max box, typical red. Some people are thinking, well, Nike should have done a bit more to this. But again, it's traditional. So there's something new in here, but you keep a traditional box. So that's in line with the Air Max line. So I kind of get what they're doing. But a lot of people think special day, new release, maybe a new box. All right, there it is. Let's see what we got. All right. Oh, nice. What I'm getting is a strong whiff of glue. A very strong whiff of glue. The colorway is tight. To be honest, the colorway is tight, and this is why I wanted this colorway. A lot of people got the triple black. I thought, to be honest, this sneaker looked slightly better in the image I saw anyway, in the black and white, but we'll get into that. These retailed at £155, I think 160 in the US. And it's similar to what was released last year, which is Nike Air Max Pulse. And that was at the same price. I think these Air Maxes are a bit too expensive. I think they should be reduced, maybe the 130, 140. Let me know what you think. It does resemble the Nike Air Max TNs. But also, if you look at the Nike Air Pulse, so the Nike Air Max Pulses, this one, Nike Air Max Pulses, yeah, Nike Air Max Pulses, I would say that's quite similar, and I think that's an evolution. We'll start with the upper before we talk about the main thing, which is the midsole. But what I didn't realize, and the images didn't show, is if you look closely, and you might be able to see it, if you look closely, this is a very thin mesh over some netting underneath, which I found interesting. And it seems like the netting goes all the way around the trainer, and then you got panels which look like it's fused on. So I'm not sure, I don't think it's TPU, but maybe it's some sort of thermoplastic that has been fused on top of it. It does remind me, and bear with me, it does remind me of Mystique's skin. If you remember in X-Men, and you see Mystique, and she's got like these, well, you can see her skin. It's almost like you've got lesions all over it, but this looks similar. Other details I'll notice, you got the Nike on the front part of the toe box, TPU toe guard, which looks like looks like it came straight from the Nike Air Max TNs, but it's slightly smaller than the TNs. And then you have this, which is prominent, which is similar to the shank that was on the Nike Air Max TNs. Remember that this is meant to symbolize the whale tail. This is more shark-like. I'm not sure if there was any reference or association. So we have at the back, you can see the Nike DN logo, which looks cool. And then you also can find the DN logo on the tongue, and you can also find the DN logo on the insole. I didn't realize until I took a second look, but these are holographic. The logo is actually holographic. But one thing I like about the tongue logo is it looks like it's got some extra fusing that goes around, which acts like a border, and that looks really nice. Pulse had the reflectors in between the laces, what you get on the Nike Air Max TNs. For some reason, Nike decided to do away with this on this one, and the tongue is slightly different. It's quite padded, which is cool. Other details you have is on the outsole. Outsole has got slightly different traction to the normal Air Maxes. It's almost like a modernized version of the traction that they usually have. It does look cool. I definitely think that this is probably the best colorway. Now, a lot of people might think different, but I do like the black and white colorway because of it shows off the design of the shoe better than the others. I think the others, you probably have to look twice to get the design of the shoe. So if you don't know what the DN stands for, it stands for dynamically tuned. Okay, so this is all about the midsole. So Nike is really pushing that this is new technology. I don't think it is new technology. I think there's an older trainer which has similar technology, but maybe they've tweaked it a little bit. Haven't done too much of the research into the older one, but I'll show you what that looks like here. The air bubbles are quite big, but it's not as big as what you saw on the Nike Air Max Pulses or what you've seen on the 270s. However, this new technology is based on pressure, and you've got different pressure on the chambers. So supposedly on the heel, so on the rear part of the heel, it's meant to be 15 psi, so it's quite pressurized. And then when you move towards, and it says the forefoot, so I'm not sure if there's an air here. It doesn't look like it, and I can't see any literature that says that there is air here. So most possibly that the air, they're talking about the forefoot air bubble, is at 5 psi. So what's meant to happen is you strike your heel here, and then the force of this moves the pressure through the different bubbles until it goes to the 5 psi. So basically, put it this way, so you got 15 psi. By the time you strike that, the pressure will change in this chamber and should increase. And therefore, it gives you almost like a damping effect, you know, like a suspension on the car when it's going over a bump. You got that damping effect. Does it actually work? We will try that out later on. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I like about the trainer and also some of the things that I don't like about the trainer. Let's start with this bit. So we talked about this being the shank and it's similar to the welter on the Nike Air Max TN. I think this is a bit overwhelming. I think it's a bit too much. Maybe if they did reduce that, then I would have preferred it, but I don't really like that. The midsole. Now, it's controversial, even though I know it's new technology. The midsole itself, I like the bubble that is continuous, and maybe I can't get with the new, and this might grow on me later, but the 4-chambered air bubble, I'm not feeling it. The traction. Now, this bit I like. This bit, it's not doing anything for me. Another thing that really bothers me is this bit. It reminds me of Caterpillar tracks, you know, on a tank. It just, yeah, and it just looks a bit square. The last one that I don't like is this bit here. It definitely looks like the all-seeing eye, so it don't do it for me. If they reduce that, I'm not sure why they're making these big features, you know. The trainer itself, and we'll get on to the good points, you know, there's some very good points of this trainer, but this bit is too big, this bit is too big. I'm not sure why it's so big. You could, if they reduced it, made it a bit smaller, you know, that little detail, and let the trainer, let everything complement each other, and I think that would have worked better. All right, let's get to the good points. So we dealt with the bad, let's talk about the good. So the first thing that strikes me that I really like is the DN logos that you can find on the tongue, insole, and on the back of the heel. Also, I like the tongue itself. So I really like the tongue. It's a really good design. I think what they could have done better is definitely put the reflective pieces in between. I think they still should have had that. Also, like this bit, the black and white does it justice because it shows off the design. So I like the curve that goes around the sneaker. I like it from the side. However, don't get me wrong, when I first saw the images on this trainer, this to here, it looked a bit too thin for me. It also reminded me of some old school church shoes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hot in the club, in love with the dub. Active, yeah, I'm free like a dove. In love with the bass, in love with the sub. In love with the energy I get from above. Hot in the club, in love with the dub. Active, yeah, I'm free like a dove. In love with the bass, in love with the sub. In love with the energy I get from above. Wheel it, take it back. Fire burning on the track. Get down, make it clap. Like 1, 2 bars, we deal with that.
Alright, now I was on foot. You know what? It feels really good. I do have this light feeling. It does feel like the trainer is quite light. Looking at it from the top, it does look nice. It does definitely reminds me of the Nike TNs.
Deal with that. Deal with that. Deal with that.
So the midsole air bubble, I don't think it's as cushioned as the Nike Air Max Pulse. Okay, it's a lifestyle trainer. It is not a runner. However, this technology that they're talking about, basically, will you feel it when you're walking? Unless you're very heavy-footed, I'm not sure you will notice the difference. But on the Nike Air Max Pulse, compared to the Nike Air Max 270, I did notice a difference, or the Epic React that I had, I did notice a difference between the transitional from heel to forefoot, because it was more of a step, because it was that stiff, that transition was a bit harsh. This one feels comfortable, feels very natural. Size-wise, so I bought this, well, I'm a UK size 9, and I bought this in the size 9. It's definitely true to size. I feel very comfortable. The mesh upon mesh material seems very airy, and the socks that I'm wearing is quite thick. So I do think you'll be comfortable, you'll be okay, definitely with true to size. However, I would advise you, if you have that awkward foot, the mad toes, to go and check it out at the shop. I would say that my thoughts on this sneaker is the images definitely don't do the trainer justice. However, is it worth going out and spending £155 of your hard-earned cash? I would say, unless you really resonate with this sneaker, probably not. But I have it in hand. I do like it, and I think I will keep it in my collection. Before, I thought it's not going to be that great. But this colorway, the black and white colorway, I think is the best colorway, and I think it does work. Similar to the Pandas, it'll be able to go and work with anything that you've got in your closets. So I'm going to come in here, you know, I'm going to have to stop the video because I've noticed, let's see with this mesh, and so the mesh that is underneath, or the netting that is underneath, and then the mesh or the very light material that covering that netting, it deforms. And it's not deformed in a bad way, but it deforms because the material is so light. And I've noticed that. And you know what? Kind of puts off the trainer, doesn't it? Because if it's deforming in a funny way, imagine you're walking street, yeah? And your shoe is looking a bit mad. When you stand still, yeah, it looks all right. But when you're not standing still, it's deforming in all kinds of ways. So that's a bit funny. If you like this video, come and help me out, mate. Like, add comments. I'm here to conversate about this. Love sneakers, ready to talk, so let me know. If you want to see another sneaker, which is another Nike Air Max, which is quite good, check this video out here. Get down, active, yeah.